Hello there, crafty friends. It's Alicia of the Call Me Crafty Al YouTube channel, and I am so glad that you have stopped by today. If this is your first time to my channel, I hope by the end of my video that you'll be inspired to hit that subscribe button below. If you're already a subscriber and regular viewer, welcome back. Yesterday, I shared a project for a collaboration that Julia McNeill Crafts is hosting here on YouTube, and this collaboration is in honor of National Storytelling Week. I talk a little bit more about it in yesterday's video, but this is a UK holiday or event where they celebrate storytelling in its various forms. For this week, I will be sharing with you how I made the Harry Potter traveler's notebook and journal kind of for my daughter. I shared the entire project yesterday in a flip through of it, so if you want to see that, I will put a link in the description box below and pop it in the upper right hand corner now. But for today, my plan is to show you how I created the outer cover and the signature booklets that went inside. And then I will be back later this week to share with you how I decorated the insides. Before I start, I thought I would share with you some of the products that I will be using. You may see other things as I go along, so if there is, I'll try to let you know. As always, if you have any questions, leave those below in the comment section and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. To start out, I have my Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone paperback book. I got this at Goodwill for 99 cents, so that's why I'm not going to feel too awful about tearing it apart, but I still do feel a little awful. My plan when I went to Goodwill, I was hoping to find a hardcover Sorcerer's Stone, but unfortunately they didn't have one, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to make the paperback work. For my signature booklets, I will be using some random bits, but for the main part, I am going to be using this weekly planner for a signature book. And then the other signature books will be made using this junior composition book. This was picked up at the Dollar Tree for $1, of course, and this I actually got at Walmart. I think it was probably around $1 as well. Sometimes Dollar Tree does sell these, but I can never find them. So I'm hoping that with this one notebook, I will be able to make 2 signature books to go into the finished project. To decorate the signature booklets, I purchased this digital scrapbooking kit. It is Project Mouse the Wizarding edition, and it is by British Designs and Solin Studio. I will link this in the description box below so you can go check it out. And then finally, for the cover, since my book, I won't be able to save the entire cover and use that, I'm going to be using the gold cardstock from this Die Cuts with a View stack. I thought the gold went well with the foiling on the title and the author's name. Now the back side is white. Ideally, it would have been a different color. Something else I'm going to be using is my new laminator. I got it for Christmas, and it actually does 11 by 17 pouches. So I will be able to keep the full 12 inches of this to use for my cover and still laminate it so that it is nice and sturdy. The first part of the traveler's notebook that I'm going to make is going to be the cover. And I figured it out that if I have a 1-inch spine, I can do 5.5-inch covers. My traveler's notebook won't have the usual flap where it comes around the front because I want my entire book cover to be seen. So this will actually just be kind of like, almost like a folder around the signature booklets. So I'm going to cut this piece to 7 3/4 inches tall. And I will leave the length at 12 inches. I will then score at about 5.5 from each end. And that's what it will look like when it's folded. So my signatures will just go on the inside here. And now I want to get my book covers ready. I'm just going to tear these off and then trim off the excess. And these pages I will keep because I thought that I might use some of the chapter pages as kind of inserts into my signature booklets. So I'll set that to the side for later. And now I'm just going to trim off the spine of the book. Here is my 11 by 17 laminating pouch. I'm going to place my cover in here, and then I'm going to step away for just a minute and laminate this. I'll be right back. Alright, so I ran this through my laminator one time. I rough cut out the lamination and ran it back through. I just wanted to make sure I got a really nice seal on it. Now, the next step I'm going to do is punch the holes over here for the elastic bands that will hold the signature books inside, as well as the elastic band that will hold it shut. Now, if I would have been thinking, I should have done that beforehand and then just re-poked the holes open after the lamination. But you know what? We're going to make it work. It'll be just fine. So what I want to do here is I am going to find the spine, and I'm going to make a mark at, let's see, 1/4, 1/2, and then 3/4. And I'm going to do that same thing down here at the bottom. And now, with that center mark, I'm going to line up my ruler, which I need to stand up for, so pardon the shadow. I am going to mark the center, which will be 3 7/8. And that will be the hole for where I put the elastic band to go around the outside. I am really going to make sure that I put my piercing tool deep in there to get the hole as big as possible. And then one thing I forgot to do earlier when I made these other marks was kind of pay attention to how far away from the edges they need to be, because I don't want it to be too small for my signature booklets. So when I use the weekly planner, I am going to take this out of that pink plastic cover. So I'm just going to eyeball this where I'm going to put the holes up here. It's about 1/4 inch in from the book cover. I'm going to punch one in the middle and then one at each of the other markings. And then again, I'm going to enlarge those holes and do the same down here. Now I'm going to trim off the excess lamination, but I also need to make sure that I leave a little bit so it stays sealed around the book. And if you've laminated before, you probably know that bubble I'm talking about. You don't want to cut into that. And just to avoid bleeding from lamination corners, I am just going to round those slightly with my scissors. And to make the folding easier, I'm going to re-score the same lines I did before. And the cover is pretty much done, except for the lacing on the edge, which I will do later after my signatures are all ready. My original plan was to have this tutorial be 2 parts, but as I am editing what I thought would be the first part, I am already over 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop for today, and tomorrow I will be back with the video where I share how I create the signatures and get them into the cover. Until then, I hope you're having a crafty day. Bye-bye.